The company hired a new legal counsel. Word has it they poached him from abroad with a hefty sum. He is handsome, graceful, and carries himself with poise. Too bad he's my ex-boyfriend. The second he laid eyes on me, he launched into sarcasm. Looks like you haven't fared so well these past few years. That is, until he spotted the dime and ring on my finger. His face clouded over instantly. You're married? Yep, even have a kid today. The female colleagues are dolled up and speaking in their softest tones, the nicest they've been since I joined the company. Normally, when I take receipts to the finance department for reimbursement, I come prepared with earplugs, but today, Olivia from finance, voice laced with a cutesy lilt, handed the receipts back to me with both hands. Sorry, but the headers filled out wrong. Could you take it back and redo it? I sucked in a sharp breath and hightailed it out of there. What's behind this odd behavior? Our new legal counsel, gorgeous, hired with big money from overseas. Even the boss beamed like a flower and personally went to the door to greet him. Rumor has it he's single, so the girls are all stepping up their game. I made a tiny change to bought a 9.9 yuan ring on Pinduoduo and slipped it on my ring finger. Sure enough, I ran into the new legal counsel after work, my ex Jasper. After all these years, the guy's driving a Mercedes waiting for a ride. He sized me up and down. Still no car after all this time. Weren't you going on about ditching men to be a tough businesswoman? That mouth of his is still as venomous as ever. I shot him a glare, and just then, my phone rang. It was the Didi driver, saying he was stuck in traffic and couldn't make it, so I should cancel the order. Just my luck. I was about to book another ride when Jasper's expression shifted. He grabbed my hand tightly. You're married. Perfect, this is exactly what I'd been waiting for. I wiggled my ring finger, flashing a blissful smile. Yep, our son's over a year old now. Jasper's face soured. He squeezed my hand harder and harder until I yelped in pain. Then finally let go. Your husband must not treat you too well, making you take a taxi home in this cold. But I love him anyway. I heard Jasper mutter a curse under his breath, then stomp off toward the parking lot, fuming. Post-breakup reunion challenge. Mission accomplished. Alas, my joy lasted less than a day. The next day, my supervisor called me into his office. The legal team needs an assistant. Could you fill in for a couple days? Once HR hires someone, you can come back. I wanted to cry. So many people here. Why me? The manager said your file shows you're the best at English, so we're putting you up to it. Do a good job. Don't let our department down, Jasper. It's definitely him. Just because I was the one who ended things. He's out to get back at me, huh? I carried my box into the legal department. Jasper was in his office, chatting leisurely on the phone, gave me a provocative look. A colleague cleared a desk for me and handed over a notebook. The manager needs help. Go on in. I dragged my feet into the office. Jasper was speaking fluent English to someone on the line. I ignored him and found a seat. He paused, said goodbye to the caller, and turned to me. Right. Let's go over today's tasks at 10. Contact the legal team at Gian & Company to discuss the product in full. For this afternoon. Schedule a meeting with Jack, who quit recently. Jasper rattled off the plans while I scrambled to take notes. Then he suddenly stopped. I looked up. What's wrong? Jasper's gaze burned into me. Was your ring? Oh no, I forgot to put it on today. Let me guess, you bought a fake online just to tick me off. Jasper hit the nail on the head. I heaved a sigh, covering my face as if flustered. Oops. I scratched my husband with it when we were being affectionate yesterday. So I took it off. Forgot to put it back on today. Jasper's smile froze, then slowly faded. Is that so? Get to work. He practically ground the words out through his teeth. I, however, was in high spirits, grabbed my notebook, and bounced out of the office. Being an assistant isn't too bad, actually, unless your boss is Jasper. This coffee's too sweet. Get me another. It was the third time Jasper sipped his coffee, then set it aside. I wanted to punch him. What do you want exactly? You never liked bitter coffee before. Jasper's fingers paused. He scoffed. People change, kinda like how you changed your mind back then. Right? I should have known he'd hold a grudge. Fine, I'll get you a new one. I reached for the cup, but Jasper blocked me. Forget it, this'll do. Your coffee's terrible. Get out. Such a diva. I stormed out, back to my desk, only to watch him take a big gulp of the coffee. He just saying one thing but meaning another, with that sharp tongue of his. That's the Jasper I knew back then. He was the debate club president in college. He deal eve opponents stem tide. As the opposing debater, I took the brunt of his attacks, but that didn't stop me from crushing on his cold, pretentious vibe. When you're young, you love a good challenge. Trouble was, plenty of others were chasing him too. I was just one in the crowd until one debate about romance, when Jasper suddenly turned to me. May I ask the third debater on the opposing team? By your logic, if I confess to you, would you say yes? I was so fired up from the argument. I shot back immediately, yes, of course I would shout it from the rooftops. Even that was the only time I ever beat Jasper. I was still celebrating when a bouquet arrived. In that case, he said, say yes to me. How I won over that cold, unattainable heartthrob is still talked about. Easily the most famous love story on campus, with underclassmen gushing, we ship it, the truth. That was this: we were both sharp-tongued. Small fights every 3 days. Big ones every 5. The second we graduated, we split, going our separate ways. What karmic fate, Elena? Jasper's calling you. My thoughts snapped back. We signed. I grabbed my notebook and headed in. What does His Highness need now? Order me lunch. I'm hungry. Sure, what do you want? Whatever. Hamburger, to greasy, dim sum, to sweet. Japanese sushi. I want something hot. I finally lost it. Jasper. What's your problem? Are you just trying to mess with me? My voice boomed. Only then did I notice everyone had stopped working. Staring our way, Jasper sipped his coffee calmly, sneering. We've eaten at least 300 meals together. You don't know what I like. I heard the collective gasp around us. This is how gossip is born. In 3 short days, word of me and Jasper spread like wildfire, spawning countless love stories just on a trip to the bathroom. I'd already heard 3 different versions. I'm exhausted. Burn it all down. I can't take this job another day. In the end, my supervisor called me into his office. Elena, what's going on with you and Jasper? We dated. Then broke up. Really? My supervisor rubbed his hands. Excited. Uncle, please get a grip. My supervisor is my uncle. Only a handful of people know that. After my mom read endless stories about office politics, she insisted on tucking me into my uncle's company. Elena, this isn't trivial. Do you know how much I paid to poach Jasper? He held up a finger. This much. It hurt. But he's a rare talent. Well, that talent might not stick around. Jasper snaps at me every time he sees me. Our breakup was ugly. Back then, Jasper's mom invited me for tea. She tore me down from head to toe. I fired back, bashing Jasper to still fuming. Plus a huge fight with him that same day. I dumped him on the spot. Nonsense. I'd been around the block. Uglier breakups mean deeper feelings. Uncle handed me a contract, grinning. His contract's only 2 years. I was stressing about keeping him after that. Lucky for me, there's you. That sleazy smile sent a bad feeling creeping in. What are you planning? Win Jasper over, of course, with you here. Maybe he'll stay. I rolled my eyes. Elena, time to contribute to the company. Double bonus for the year. Deal? Nope. Uncle, don't make me cut my hair in the first lunar month. I stormed out, ignoring his wails. That afternoon, Jasper and I met with former colleague Jack. He'd been fired for leaking documents, but there were still legal formalities to wrap up after signing me NDA. Jack rubbed his forehead, suddenly turning to me. Hey, Elena. You've gotten prettier. Hard to tell you're raising a kid. Jasper's hand froze. He looked up, eyes boring into me. Unreadable. Jack, oblivious, went on, hadn't fulfilled my accept. Last time I saw you, the little one was just babbling, only saying mama. Must talk smoothly now. Huh? I forced a laugh. Yeah, said much smoother. Tough, raising a kid and working full-time. I nodded, just going along. After saying goodbye to Jack, it was nearly quitting time. No point heading back to the office. Jasper checked his watch. Let's eat. What do you want? I shot him a look. Whatever. Payback for earlier, but I was clearly outmatched. Jasper pulled up to a hot pot restaurant. I stayed in the car, refusing to get out. Don't feel like it. We'll reek after. You said whatever. Stay here alone if you want, bastard. Always knows how to push my buttons. It was peak hours. The place was packed. We squeezed into a window seat. Jasper stared out. Thoughtful. I scrolled through my phone. How old's your kid? He suddenly asked. I looked up, pausing a second. Almost 2. You said you'd never marry before 25. His gaze drilled into me, like he might burn a hole through my skull. What a sudden change. Back when we were together. We passed a bridal shop. I'd lingered, admiring a dress in the window. Jasper asked. Dead serious, when I wanted to marry. I said after 25. Met the right person. I guess. I was acting so well, I almost clapped for myself. You like him that much? Jasper's tone turned grave enough to ditch your principles. How right can you be? Listen to that. Sounds like he's head over heels. Yep, at least he doesn't contradict every word I say. He lets me have my way. That one sentence left Jasper speechless. Yes, he knew exactly why we'd broken up back then through the entire hot pot meal. Jasper just buried his head in eating. Not saying another word. The tables around us buzzed with laughter and chatter, while we stayed silent, shoveling food into our mouths. Afterward, Jasper drove me home. The car stopped downstairs. He glanced up at the building. You live here? Yep. Something that lifts your mood. I also said I'd be a millionaire by now. I opened the car door to get out, ready to wave goodbye. But Jasper stepped out too. Forgot to ask the waiter for tea earlier. So, I'm thirsty. Let me pop up for a glass of water. He said it so casually, no hint of awkwardness. Not convenient. Why not? Jasper stepped in front of me. Am I too embarrassing an ex to bring up? Or are you scared your husband and kid will see something? His face screamed. I'm going up today. But I was petrified he'd see through the lie. We stood there, locked in a silent standoff. Elena? What are you doing out here? A familiar voice. John, holding a toddler, stood behind me, eyeing us both. Why aren't you upstairs? Catching a cold out here? Jasper's face darkened, especially when the kid in John's arms pointed at me and yelled, Mama. His expression turned so black. It might have dripped ink. That's your husband and kid. I nodded, hurrying to John's side and looping my arm through his. Honey, did you come down to get me? John froze for a second, then caught my eye and nodded. Yeah, the baby and I came to pick you up. IWW, thanks, sweetie. I cooed at the toddler. The kid stared up at me, yelling Mama again. That little family to blow must have hit Jasper hard. He clenched his fists. And after a long pause, ground out. I'll go. He yanked open the car door. Slammed it shut so hard I winced for the car once he was gone. John jerked his arm away. Watch the boundaries. Don't ruin my chances with someone. Like I'd want to. I huffed, heading for the elevator. John followed, still holding the kid. The toddler kept yelling Mama. I stroked his cheek. Didn't you have a doctor's appointment today? How'd it go? Same old, more guidance. John sighed. Little sister. What am I gonna do? John's my brother. The kid's my nephew. My sister-in-law died in childbirth. The baby was born with developmental issues 2 years old. And he only knows Mama and Dada, nothing else. Once, John came to pick me up from work with the kid. The baby called me Mama, and Jack, passing by, heard it. He'd thought the kid was mine ever since. I never bothered correcting him. That guy earlier, he was cute. John said. My ex. The new legal counsel at work. Uncle paid big bucks for him. Huh? Looks like he's still hung up on you. I kicked off my shoes and flopped on the couch. So what? We didn't work out. That's why we broke up. What if he's changed? Take a chance if you get it. Don't end up like me with no chances left. Talking about my sister-in-law. John sighed again, then turned to play with the kid. That night, I tossed and turned in bed. Had Jasper changed? He did seem more mature, more charismatic. Shame that mouth of his was still as venomous, but I couldn't deny it. Since we split, I'd never had anyone to bicker with. The next day, I dragged myself to work with dark circles, only to find Jasper's office empty. Mr. Overvetchery was absent. When HR walked by, I asked casually, oh, he called in sick, I think. Jasper, sick? That man was built like iron in college. He lived for running and hiking in 3 years of dating. I never saw him so much as sniffle. Had yesterday's scene really hit him that hard? Anxious, I texted him. No reply. Jasper was out sick for a week. As his assistant, I sat at my desk bored silly. practically growing moss when he finally came back. I hadn't even gotten to play the concerned colleague before I got a transfer notice. HR had hired a permanent assistant. I could go back to my old department. My old boss even threw a tiny welcome back party. Everyone clapped, and I wanted to crawl into a hole. You had no idea without you around. The department's been dead. No one's told jokes like yours. We were dying. So that's my purpose once I was back. I barely saw Jasper. Different floors. Departments with little overlap. We nodded at each other after work. And that was it. One day. I started to say hello, but he drove off. Probably for the best. A good act should act like the other doesn't exist. But my relief didn't last 2 days. My uncle called, summoning me to his office. As soon as I stepped into the office, I heard wailing like a ghost. Helena, you've got to save your uncle. What's wrong? What's all this about? I stared. Confused. Your uncle's company is going under. Is that so? I pulled out my phone. Then I'd better start prepping. See where I can jump ship. My uncle fell silent, giving me a frosty look. Elena, this is a life or death moment for the company. How can you say something so discouraging? Wow, how? Suddenly I felt a surge of guilt. If Aunt hadn't told me he'd bought a new car last week, I might have almost believed him. Spit it out. What's really going on? My uncle wiped imaginary tears, then pulled me aside to sit at us. Serious. Yesterday I went to Jasper's office and saw he's studying for a bar exam. My eyes widened. Shocked. He doesn't even have a lawyer's license? And you still hired him? And paid him so much? He's the one who got the nepotism pass. Oh no, nepotism pass. Not that. He's prepping for a foreign bar exam. I suspect in 2 years, he'll go abroad. And probably never come back. My heart tightened. I made a small low sound. Then offer him a higher salary. See if that keeps him. If he goes abroad, his pay won't be lower than it is now. My uncle launched into a cheerful rant about the hardships of starting a business all these years. Elena, this is your chance to help. Your Uncle John told me what happened the other day. You must have broken his heart. Go smooth things over. Are you kidding me? I stood up, angry. I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I have to coddle him? I'm not doing it. Solve it yourself. And I'll tell your mom to set you up on blind dates. That hit nerve. Just as we reached a standoff, I spotted a savior. The new legal assistant, craning her neck to peek through the door. I yanked it open and pulled her in. Here to see the boss. Go on in. I'm leaving. I tried to bolt, but she grabbed my hand. No, Elena, I'm here for you. For me? Jasper's taken more days off. He asked me to deliver a document, but I forgot in the rush. Then I just heard my mom got food poisoning and is in the hospital. Can you deliver this for me? The assistant looked at me, eyes tearful, leaving me flustered. Well, of course you can. Before I could agree, my uncle snatched the document and stuffed it into my hand. Elena, I'll deliver it. Let her go take care of her sick mom. Why don't you go? I shot him a glare. The assistant thanked me profusely, then dashed out. My uncle waved cheerfully. Off you go. Counts as field work. Reluctantly, I took the document and hailed a taxi to Jasper's place. We'd gone to college here. The apartment Jasper lived in now was the one I dreamed of buying right before graduation. Too bad my salary never kept up with housing prices back then. Jasper had laughed at me. The building's not even finished, and you're already planning to buy it? Afraid it'll be a dud? But I'd wanted that apartment badly. Even daydreamed about living there with him. Never thought we'd break up, and he'd end up buying the place he'd once mocked. I knocked. No answer. I called Jasper. Still no pickup. Maybe no one was home. But this document was important. I couldn't just dump it somewhere. Jasper's door had a combination lock. I decided to try my luck. He'd always been big on symbolism, using meaningful dates for passwords. I tried his birthday, his graduation date. Both wrong. I gave up. Maybe things were different after all these years staring at the lock. A thought struck. I typed in the date we'd gotten together. Beep, incorrect. What was I even hoping for? After a few failed tries, I grew annoyed, slapping random numbers on the keypad. Password correct. Huh? What had I just typed? Confused, I stepped inside and found Jasper standing in the entryway, phone in hand. The screen looked like the lock's control interface. Oh, so he'd unlocked it from the inside. I tried several times, but it wouldn't open. I mumbled an explanation. Jasper's gaze landed on me. He spoke slowly, adding, "The password's our breakup date to remind me never to forget it." "Who uses that as a password?" I set down the document, ready to leave, but noticed Jasper slump onto the couch, his face flushed unnaturally. "You okay?" I hurried over, catching a whiff of alcohol. Sure enough, a few scattered bottles lay by his feet. "You've been drinking? Skipping work to drown your sorrows at home?" Jasper opened his eyes to look at me. Cess when I saw his red-rimmed eyes. Seductive, almost fox-like. My heart raced. I quickly looked away. "Are you feeling unwell? I'll take you to the hospital." Jasper stayed silent so long I thought he'd ignore me. Then, finally, he muttered, "My heart hurts. Should you see a therapist?" Would a therapist teach me how to win back my ex? My hand froze. I met his gaze. His eyes were red, glistening. "Why are you here so late? You're married. What am I supposed to do?" "I don't stand a chance." He started sniffling, muttering under his breath. I leaned in, listening. "Why so cruel? Why wouldn't you wait? You've even got a kid now." "What do I do?" He grumbled softly, then fished a pillow from the couch corner, hugging it tight. That pillow had given it to him. It was the only gift I never asked back after we broke up after our big fight. Jasper had returned everything. I'd given him everything except this pillow. But out heartless. Cruel, unreasonable. Breaking up just like that, no second thoughts. Jasper clutched the pillow, accusing me through tears that soaked into the fabric. Watching him hurt, my own heart ached. I inched over to sit beside him. "Then why did you agree to it back then? How was I supposed to know you meant it? You were so cold, leaving me behind to go abroad. Back then, I thought Jasper would beg me to stay. He thought I was just throwing a fit. Maybe we were both too immature. That's why it ended. I regret it." Jasper suddenly grabbed my hand, pressing it to his face. Tears slid from the corner of his eye, pooling in my palm. "I shouldn't have fought with you. Shouldn't have agreed to break up. I should have clung to you. I regret it." He couldn't stop sniffling. I asked the question I'd held on to for so long. "Did you date anyone those years abroad? Did you ever think of me?" "All the time. So much. I graduated early just to come back for you." I couldn't stand the silence anymore. Jasper suddenly tossed the pillow aside and collapsed into my arms. "I'll never fight with you again. I'll say whatever you want to hear. Just don't leave." He sobbed, red-faced and pitiful. I whipped out my phone to record. "Then who's in charge from now on?" "You." "Who handles the finances? Who does the chores?" "I'll do the chores. All my money's yours." Satisfied, I stopped recording. Jasper always forgot things after a hangover. I needed proof. "You raid runk. Let me help you to bed." I struggled to get him onto the mattress, but he clung to my hand, refusing to let go. "I won't let you leave unless you kiss me." My heart skipped a beat. I pulled back instinctively. Jasper's lower lip trembled, fresh tears spilling. "You really don't like me anymore. You even hate touching me now." Drunk Jasper was more exhausting than a toddler. Fed up, I pressed a quick kiss to his forehead. "Happy? Now lie still." Not the forehead. I didn't feel it. "Do it again." I wanted to throw him out the window. I kissed his lips, then tried to pull away, but his hand suddenly cupped the back of my neck, his lips chasing mine. When the kiss ended, Jasper finally settled down to rest. I made him sober up soup and left it on the nightstand before slipping out. Just as I was leaving, my uncle texted, "How's it going? Did you reel Jasper in?" I turned off my phone without replying. When Jasper returned to work after his sick leave, he was back to his sharp-suited, put-together self. But at lunch, he cornered me in the break room. "What happened the other afternoon?" Of course, he'd forgotten everything. The memory of that kiss made me flush. "Nothing happened." Jasper looked skeptical. I took a sip of water to hide my awkwardness. Then he noticed my ring. His expression darkened, and he stalked off with a dismissive huff. Thank goodness for the ring. It was my shield. Finally, the weekend arrived. I was sprawled on the couch, enjoying the peace, when my uncle and aunt dropped by with two fish, insisting on cooking them. I hung back, scrolling through my phone, about to round up friends for a game, when a message popped up. From Jasper. It was a screenshot. A photo of us kissing. Creep. He had a camera in his bedroom. Did he watch himself sleep too? "Is this what you call nothing happened?" I tagged back quickly. "It was an accident." Once might be an accident. What about the second time? "You forced me." I gripped my phone, seething, but you let me and you could have left afterward. But you stayed to make me sober up soup. He'd caught me in a logical trap again. I tossed my phone aside, ignoring him. But it kept buzzing reluctantly. I picked it up. Fine. I don't want to argue about this. When are you getting a divorce? I don't mind being a stepdad. He even sent a divorce agreement template. Next thing I knew, he'd be volunteering to represent me in court. Divorce? What divorce? I replied, feigning confusion. You kissed me and you're not divorcing. You don't want to take responsibility. You're cheating on your husband and dragging me into it. Just you wait. Jasper's reply was seething. I laughed until my sides hurt. About to confess the truth, when someone started pounding on the door. My aunt poked her head out, curious. Who's that, knocking like the house is on fire? I opened the door to find Jasper standing there, glowering at me. What are you doing here? Jasper's smile was icy. I was worried your husband might lose his temper when you showed him the divorce papers. Do something to hurt you. So I waited downstairs. His jaw tightened. But you're not even planning to divorce. Fine. I'll talk to him myself. Where's your husband? Are you two separated? Unbelievable. He was practically rooting for me to be miserable. Jasper. What are you doing here? My uncle emerged, holding a plate of sliced fish. Eyeing me in confusion. Jasper? Jasper's fists clenched as he stared me down. Is this why you won't take me back? My uncle yelped, diving behind my aunt. Misunderstanding, I'm just her uncle. My aunt nodded frantically. Jasper's expression shifted instantly, sunny and warm. I'm so sorry for barging in like this. I didn't bring gifts for you. May I steal a word with Elena? My uncle and aunt nodded eagerly as Jasper dragged me into the bedroom. My uncle shot me a cryptic look. Jasper locked the door, pinning me against the wall. Are you even married? Before I could answer, he plucked a ring from my finger, inspecting it closely. Made in China. What? You look down on Chinese manufacturing? It's got great reviews. Jasper burst out laughing, pulling me into his arms, his voice softening. Why, we're a fake. I'd buy you a real one, Dad. Any style you want. Before I could respond, his forehead pressed against mine, his gaze intense and eager. I'm sorry. I was wrong before. Tell me the kid. The husband. None of it's real. Tell me I still have a chance. I sighed, spilling the truth when I finished. Joy lit up Jasper's eyes. He kissed me softly. I knew you couldn't be that cruel. Couldn't really leave me. Did you miss me when we were apart? About as much as you missed me. Jasper smiled, burying his face in my neck. So a lot. Sleepless nights, even? Not that much. Jasper fell silent. But hey, I've got something to show you. You're gonna love this. I pulled out my phone and opened the photo album. And played the video I'd taken the night he got drunk. Jasper's face turned black before my eyes. News of me capturing the icy prints spread like wildfire again, earning me more stares from coworkers. Even my uncle walked with a new swagger. Jasper said if I help you to tie the knot, he'll sign for another 2 years. A bad feeling settled in my gut, so I told your mom. She's all for it. Just as I'd feared. As soon as I got off work, my mom called when I walked in. She tossed her household registration book at me. Get married now. You not mooching off me forever. On a sunny weekend, I took Jasper home. My mom practically beamed, shoving a red envelope into his hand as he left, urging him to visit often. I should have known my weakness for good looks came straight from her. For weeks after, she dropped hints non-stop. Jasper's a good kid. Not wait too long. He's a catch. Hold on to him. My uncle and mom tag-teamed the marriage pressure. Then, after Jasper referred my nephew to a top doctor, my brother joined the fray. 3 against 1. I agreed to move in together first. Jasper was giddy while helping me pack, strutting around like a peacock showing off its feathers. We commuted to work together, lived together at night. Waking up to that handsome face every day, it definitely boosted my mood. Jasper was on a business trip to a nearby city when the doorbell rang. Maybe he'd come home early to surprise me. I opened the door, my smile vanishing. It wasn't Jasper, it was his mother, Mrs. Tudor. From what Jasper had told me, Mrs. Tudor came from a distinguished literary family. Her parents were big names in academia, which, apparently, was why she'd never liked me. Her exact words, a merchant's child like you, reeks of money. You Ray, not good enough for Jasper. Mrs. Tudor didn't look surprised to see me. So it is you back with Jasper. Come in. I poured her tea, setting it on the coffee table. She glanced around the apartment, her gaze lingering on the unthrown takeout containers I'd left out. I coughed awkwardly. Jasper's away on business. What can I do for you? I know. I came to see you. Mrs. Tudor opened her bag, pulling out a small box and handing it to me. A gift to make up for before. I froze, caught off guard by the gesture. I thought she'd come to break us up again. I'd never seen Jasper so stubborn. Once he found out I'd chased you away, he stopped speaking to me entirely. Mrs. Tudor let out a long sigh. What a heartless son. Though I suppose he gets it from his mother, one who cruelly wrecked his relationship. I had to admit, she'd changed a lot since I last saw her. Strands of white had woven into her hair, and her face held more lines of age. Jasper said he'd never step foot in our house again until he won you back. He worked to pay his grad school tuition himself. Back then, he was so low skin and bones. I snuck to see him once, and he was calling your name in his sleep. Mrs. Tudor bowed her head, staring into her teacup as another sigh escaped. Last month, his father had a birthday. Jasper sent a gift, his first contact in years. That's when I knew you two must have made up. She stayed only a short while, chatting briefly before preparing to leave. As she went, she pressed the box into my arms. Take this as my belated gift, and I'll add more to the dowry. My apology. With that, she walked out. The last time I'd watched her go, she'd held her head high like a regal swan. This time, her steps were slower. Her head bowed. Pride had finally given way to love for her son. That night, Jasper returned from his trip. He wasn't surprised to hear his mother had visited. What do I do with this gift? It's too expensive. So stunning it'd have left me speechless. Keep it if she gave it to you. Jasper tossed his clothes aside, hurrying to pull me toward the bedroom. Slow down. That's all you can think about. I pushed him away, staring at the box in a daze. It feels like everyone's pushing for us to marry. Everything's falling into place so fast it doesn't feel real. Falling into place? Jasper scoffed, laying his head in my lap. We were apart for years when I thought you were married. My heart nearly stopped. What if I had gotten married? I asked, tracing the outline of his profile. He turned suddenly, smirking. I'd have stolen you back, tried to make you divorce me. Found out you were married. I read the entire marriage law cover to cover. No morals at all. During the October Golden Week, Jasper and I got our marriage license. I'd never seen him grin so broadly, so dopily, so unguarded. The night before, he'd tossed and turned in bed, leaping up to check his documents. Scrolling through Travel Guide online. When we walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, our families were waiting at the door. Joy lit up every face. This was the happiness I'd wanted, standing with the one I loved, stepping into marriage surrounded by the blessings of those who cared.